Short and sweet, short and sweet. Hey, listen, this next panel's pretty, you're going to want to be in here for this one. I myself, as an individual and as a professional, consume a lot of the same content that you do, and I have a lot of the same questions that you do. I am also a person that really understands conceptual, and I a lot of times miss the bridge between the concept and understanding it and putting it into action, right? Like, what did Gary say yesterday? Dieting, eat healthy, work out more. Yes, I get it. I just don't really want to do it. Anyway, okay, so this next panel, this is going to be the questions you are sitting there and asking. You understand the concept. You understand what people are saying. This is the bridge that's going to tell you how to do from the concept into how you do it. Okay, so I'm going to bring Jason Frazier back up to bring you the next really amazing panel. While we wait.
I'm here. Thank you. I gotta have her just. You need to intro me all the time, Jackie. All right. Well, welcome back. We're gonna, we want to make sure that we're keeping everything on time, and I'm really excited for our next group of experts on stage that are going to talk about a lot of what you've already been hearing, but seeing how to put that into actual practice. So, joining me, please come out, Molly McKinley, Glenda Baker, Shane Kidwell, and Mike Cox. What's funny is we almost wore the same pants. Yeah, all of us almost wore the same pants as Glenda today. So I'm going to have everyone introduce themselves, but we actually, decided that this is what's fun about events with great people is that we decided, with our time, we're going to talk just a little bit about marketing, but then we're going to open it up to Q&A. So I want all of you to think about anything because there is not one marketing question that you could ask that someone on the stage cannot answer. So think about some of the stuff you heard, some of the things that have happened, and then you have in the trenches professionals that are doing this at a high level that could speak to not theory, but actual practice. So we'll start with Mike. Go ahead and introduce yourself, my friend.
Mike Cox. I own Mortgage Nerds in Appleton, Wisconsin.
Shane?
Shane Kidwell. I work for Victorian Finance and Next Level Loan Officers out of Seattle, Washington.
Woo!
Hello, my name is Glenda Baker. I'm a real estate agent here in Atlanta, Georgia, and you might have seen me on TikTok.
Maybe.
And I'm Molly McKinley, and I build real estate technology brands. So.
All right. So the first thing, what we call this panel, I called it Marketing Oxygen, or A.I.R. And A.I.R. is attention, impact, and relevancy. So I want all of you to write that down. Attention, impact, and relevancy. And they all play into anything that you want to do to the modern consumer today and for the next decade, right? You got to have their attention. Doesn't matter if your rates are in the zeros, doesn't matter if you sell a house in 15 seconds. None of that matters for a million over list if they don't know about you, if you don't have their attention. And then once you have their attention, you have to make an impact. If you're not making an impact, if you're just doing the cookie cutter stuff that everyone else is doing, you're not going to stand out. You got to make an impact. And when you make an impact, you will become relevant. And that is where the gold is. And so marketing, in my opinion, and I'm a little biased, but it's true, is the oxygen for your business. It's the oxygen that's going to help you fulfill your expertise, the hours you spent learning something, all of that. That's the oxygen that's going to breathe life into the growth. So I have a question for each and every one of you. And this is because, again, we want to be tactical. I want you to hear here and now type of stuff. As I asked every single person, what was their best performing marketing tactic that has actually helped grow their business the most? And so we're going to start with Mike.
For me, that was definitely growing my Facebook business page strategically, not just posting stuff on there and boosting stuff, but actually building out in a way with, well, right now we have 23 different strategies on there to engage our community, to keep them there. So building that out with intentionality to help get I'll bring the community in. We obviously get leads off of that. But the beautiful thing about that too is we also provide value to our real estate agents from our Facebook page, because their Facebook page sucks. A lot of people don't put a lot of time and energy into it, and so if you find those agents that they haven't done that, that's a value add you have in that relationship that you can offer to them, that you can promote them and their listings on your page.
Yeah, so the opposite of that is what most people do, which is post and pray. Post something, please. Hopefully someone respond. Shane, same question.
Yeah, well, he asked me this earlier, and I was kind of racking my brain. The reality is, I think for me, it was when I started wearing a backwards hat. And I say that, and it sounds dumb, but it's like 5 years ago, I was very insecure. I was doing what everybody else was doing, wearing a suit and tie. No disrespect if that's your brand. And for me, I had to be genuine and real with who I was. I'm a hoodie, backwards hat guy. I was a fireman, so we like to laugh a lot, be fun. And so for me, that was everything. For me, when I realized and I just lived into who I was, stopped giving a shit about what other people thought, and started to live intentionally into my brand, it became fun. And when it's fun, it's not work. The reality is that in mortgage and real estate, we're not selling homes, we're not selling loans. There's robots that can do that way better than us. They're out there, they're working. We're marketers that happen to sell homes. We sell dreams, but we're marketers. And so for me, I needed to be relevant in my marketplace, and there was always somebody who could outspend me online. There was always somebody who could spend more money, do more marketing, have better videography. I started doing free posting on Facebook organically. And I just stuck to one thing, Facebook only. People say, what about LinkedIn or IG? I'm like, I don't even know how that works. I'm on Facebook, and I did that for 4 years intentionally, grew my brand. Now deals come in for free through Messenger, and I don't have to think about what I'm doing because I just have fun. I eat donuts, I wear my hat backwards, I get on a dirt bike with my buddy Alan, and we just have fun. And so the strategy for me is just be yourself.
Yeah, nice. Glenda?
Well, in October of 2020, I decided to get serious about video, and I had seen a guy that had 43,000 views on TikTok. And I was like, oh, he could do TikTok, I could do TikTok. And so I saw this guy, Matthew Hussey, who did dating advice. And I was like, oh, I could do real estate advice like that. And so I wanted to talk off camera because I wanted you to feel like you were a fly on the wall, like you were listening in on a conversation between me and my best friend. And so I started with 122 followers. And I think that what really worked for me was being relatable and relevant. All of my content is about real estate. I'm not dancing. I'm not doing the latest trend. There is no trending music. It is literally just me talking about real estate. And probably the video that most people have seen is Once Upon a Time I Sold a Big Ass House. And it talks about how I made $137,000 on that one sale, and that I pissed that money away on a new car and new clothes, and instead of buying a townhome for $100,000. And that car is worth nothing, and those clothes don't fit. And that townhome that was $100,000 in 1995 just sold for $1 million. And it ends with, this is a cautionary tale. And that thing caught on fire like you cannot believe. So don't be afraid to be yourself. You want to be relevant, you want to be relatable, and you want something that people can bite into.
Awesome, great story. And if you don't know, Glenda is, if not one of the top agents in the entire state of Georgia. So she knows what she's talking about. Molly.
Yeah, so for me, I always start at I think that the problem with content is you can create really great stuff, but then nobody sees it, right? So that was something I learned really early on, is when I'm starting to imagine and create, it's like, what is the plan? What is my distribution plan? And part of a really great distribution plan is making sure that your creation plan includes lots of other people who give you access to audiences, right? And so one of the best tips that I have in terms of really being strategic about your marketing is taking the time to think about the partners, the other people, and what audiences do they have, who are you trying to reach, and how can you get access to them? And really, really making sure that it's aligned from the very, very beginning. It's not happenstance, it's not coincidental. You really are strategic about, okay, I want to reach this path, and I'm going to do that through these people, and then these people are going to connect with that plan, and that it really is thoughtful. And if you take the time to map out that from the very, very beginning, you're going to expand audience and get the reach that you need so that your content actually sees the light of day.
Awesome. One thing that I also wanted to ask, because I want you all to hear it from people, again, that are operating at a very high level, is, and we'll come back around and start with Molly again, where do you see the biggest opportunity for a professional in our industry today?
Yeah, for me, I'm on the bandwagon of goodness loops. I think every single business has extra, right? Whether it's you have a physical location that has availability from 6 to 9 or whatever. That is extra space that can be used for nonprofits in the area, for organizations who don't have the time, the money, the space, the budget to have their own rent or pay their own rents. But each of our businesses have extra. For example, I'll tell us a little quick story. I had a company called Happykins. We made these little napkins. And I remember walking around the facility, and I had all of these scraps everywhere on the floor. And the intention, originally, you sweep it up and you throw it in the garbage. But instead, we grabbed these little scraps and we wove them into table, like placemats and rugs. And then the women who were making these, napkins, then they were the ones who were selling them and putting it into an education fund for their children. And so the point is, something that's scrap that we're not using, think about it differently. And I do believe that also creates the story. When we started telling the story of how our scraps became an education fund for the women who were sewing, that's really great marketing, right? And it's real. There's nothing phony or false about that. It's being really, really smart about what you have extra and what you're not using that can be used by someone else. I call these goodness loops, and every single business has them. So.
Great.
Sorry, I didn't want to cough when Molly was talking.
Perfect timing. Perfect timing. Right?
I'm like, oh, you don't cough.
I know.
You held your breath for 3 minutes.
I was literally like about to die. I'm like, oh my God, my eyes were watering.
It's the hands.
Okay, so sorry. Okay, I sucked in a sequin.
That's like $1,000. I mean,
You have no idea how much these pants cost. Okay.
100,000.
That's the title of her next blog.
more
I
there we
sucked
go.
in a sequin.
That's the next panel, by the way. All right.
Is that after happy hour?
Yeah, after happy
Okay,
hour.
okay,
All right.
Good.
Glenda,
Okay.
question to you.
Okay, so make it as easy as possible. So I'm in this mastermind group, and since a bunch of you are mortgage loan officers, and there's this guy in this loan officer in this mastermind group. The guy 10 months ago started a YouTube channel. He's got 800,000 followers. He's had 8,000 leads literally click on this link. 8,000 leads, 1,800 applications in the last 10 months. And people always say to me, they're like, Glenda, are you really making any money off those videos? In the last 15 months, I've made $250,000 directly from people in the comments or in the DM just coming to me wanting, I'm buying a house, I'm moving to Atlanta. One girl who's an Olympian volleyball or softball player, she is moving from Denver to Nashville, and she sends me a DM and she says, can you find me the Glenda in Nashville? And she just bought $1 million home, one phone call, lovely referral check, just landed this week. Last Sunday, 2:32, I get a text message. I found you on TikTok. I'd love to buy a house in Atlanta. I'm relocating to Sandy Springs. 3:02, a voicemail. I'm relocating from New York. I saw you on TikTok. I'd love for you to help me find a house. Those 2 leads were about $825,000 in business. So does it work all day, every day? What was the question? Did I answer it?
You did. That was perfect. That's it, yeah.
What was the question?
If I didn't, I hope that was worth something.
At that answer, the question didn't really matter. But but the point is TikTok for kids? Sure, but it's also for adults too, right? And so just for everyone that's like, oh, TikTok, and look, that may not be your cup. That's fine. But just everything out there you've probably said doesn't work, and you've been wrong, right? It does work, right? Hey, I've been doing this since 2012, telling agents and loan officers to be on social media. Oh, no one's ever going to use social media. I'll never get business off social media, right? And that's where we're at today. We still have that mindset, so perfect answer. Shane.
Well, and how much did that cost you, that strategy?
Nothing.
Nothing.
I mean, Denver, Denver, the videographer, he's not doing this for free. So
He's not? I thought.
not with that big fancy ass camera that I just bought. But no, I mean, it costs, for me, you could do it from your phone.
You could do it from your phone.
But for me, I'm so bad with all that stuff. It's just easier and less stressful for me to have Denver.
Well, and I think that's the point, right? I'm a mortgage professional. I'm an LO. I'm recovering. We overcomplicate the shit out of stuff, don't we?
Yeah.
I mean, if you have an iPhone 13 Pro, you have a professional video camera. That thing does 8K now, I think.
Yep.
I mean, I don't even know how you edit that, but you get a guy on Fiverr for $6. I think the reality is that we overcomplicate things and we fall in line with what everybody else is doing. I can't tell you how many times we see the sheep online that all post the same useless shit, right? And it gets you nothing, right? How many agents post on there? No disrespect. I'm not making friends. I'm sorry, Jason. He's never invited me back. But like, just sold another.
With all due respect.
With all due respect. How many of you have seen an agent post, just sold another home for over asking?
Never.
Does that actually move the needle and make you like want to work with them? No, right? It's a sheep strategy that used to work 5 years ago. The cool thing about video is we can all be professionals. I think the key is being authentic and consistent. In our coaching group, and I would love for you to write this down. You can like edit out the swear word. My shitty marketing is better than your no marketing. Right? So if I'm really bad at YouTube and I'm tripping and falling and stumbling through my video, people are laughing, it's engaging, right? It's way different than watching the news and being depressed for 24/7, right? And then you talk about something relevant in your business. For me in mortgage, I'm talking about what's going on in the market. I'm talking about MBS, strategies, what's happening with rates. Have you seen how much they've gone up? But instead of doing the same thing that everybody else is doing, I'm doing it in a fun, engaging way. And then I'm leveraging free or basically free technologies to get that to the masses. If you're buying a tool for $100 a month and it makes you $1,000 a month, isn't it free? Right, so using BombBomb, using Facebook Messenger, using your iPhone Pro to send video out, you can do all of this for free or virtually free. The reality is that we all have something cool that we do, but we don't do it enough because we have squirrel mentality, and we go find something else because I just heard a bunch of speakers do cool things. I'm already like, I should get on TikTok. I'm like, what am I thinking? I don't know anything about TikTok. I'm making money in this platform. That's my platform, right? Now, not to say I'm not going to dabble in that, but find your niche, get into that niche, be authentic, do it consistently, and you can do it for free, and just stop doing what everybody else is doing. Just do the opposite of what everyone else is doing consistently, and you'll win.
Awesome. Mike.
Yeah, I would say along with that is the biggest opportunity is a mental shift. I honestly don't think most people take marketing as seriously as they should. Like, let's say you're a loan officer, you get a loan application in the morning. Are you going to go work up the loan application, or are you going to stick to your time blocking, to do your Facebook posts or whatever? Which one's more important? Once you understand the power of marketing, consistently marketing, and what you get from it, and how it feeds all the different verticals, and you actually make that shift, you start doing the things every single day that bring that business in. So the business, somebody else can work up that application. You need to get on the camera or do whatever you're going to do. The biggest opportunity is to do that, have that shift. And I'm telling you, new loan officers, you want to know how to get into a room with a realtor? Learn marketing, create a lead, pre-qualify them, then go walk in and hand them that deal and say, hey, would you work up this deal? And don't even ask them for their business. Just give them the deal. Let your expertise do the talking. Who's going to take that meeting? Every realtor.
100%.
It's guaranteed money, right? Except for donuts, coffee, that's not it.
Awesome. And one thing from that, this is where I want you guys to have a mindset shift, because this is one of the things that hold a lot of you back. Right now, I want you to write down the word cost. Cost. And then I want you to cross it out and write investment. When you think about in terms of investment as opposed to cost, your world changes. Because with cost, it means I'm paying something, eating, gas, stuff. And yeah, it's helping, but there's no true down the road ROI, right? Investment, when you're thinking about, what's it cost for the CRM? What's it cost to do that? What's it cost to get on video? What's it cost? What's the investment? You're seeing the investment. The battle's been fought and won. So whatever you're telling yourself, the stories you're telling yourself right now, they're wrong, right? Tell yourself you can do it. You can make this investment, and you will get back, but you have to actually do it to make the investment. So now, what I would like to do, and I think we have some mics floating around, but I would love to get into some Q&A. Think about some of the things you've heard, and anyone other than Fredo. Does anyone have a
Fredo,
question
yeah.
other than Fredo?
Hey, you've already had your,
Yeah.
You got your
I
great
didn't even have
ticket.
to finish my sentence. Fredo, what do you got? No mic for Fredo. Fredo's loud. All right.
It's a question for the whole panel, but I'll start with Shane.
Put me on the
Shane,
spot.
I'm a coffee enthusiast. Some would say a coffee snob.
I would not call you a snob. I would call you an enthusiast.
All right, great. So for the group, and Shane first, what would be some great coffee video ideas that I can shoot in my community? Go.
I think first and foremost is we have a lot of people in our industry that are amateurs masquerading as professionals. So I think that would be a really cool topic for you because you like high-end coffee. You don't want Starbucks. You want a professional making you a $7 latte.
Hey,
There's a ton you can do around an amateur versus a professional and then relate that back to real estate and lending. So I would be going to the top high-end coffee shops in the area, the markets you want to be. I'd be doing a very in-depth short video on how they make high-end coffee. I'd drop a pin on that and I'd market the shit of that area.
love it. Thank you.
Great.
I would
Res-
probably go with cups, cuts, and mortgages. Cups, cuts, and mortgages. And I would talk about the cup of coffee, and then I would talk about cutting up the deal, how the deal is actually laid out, and then I would talk about mortgages or loans or whatever is your area of expertise. And your name is Alfredo? And I'd probably have another little series that would be called Advice from Alfredo. No charge for that tip on Saturday.
What does it cost on Friday?
A shitload. I got to pay for the sequence
Yeah.
somehow.
Investment. Remember, it's an investment. All right.
I
Molly.
think, well, you just need to sprinkle in some other people in that mix too, right?
Yeah.
And then that gives you access to new audiences. So again, using influencers, using people, like really observe your markets. And I think that's something that people don't really do well enough either. I mean, we watch our competition, but we're not really paying attention to what everyone is doing because I have this really fundamental, it's just in my bones. When everybody is zigging, I will zag. So when everybody is talking about this, then this is done. I want the what's next, you know? And so like, how do you kind of look and observe and kind of, you know, that's the kind of the problem where you create these little echo chambers, right? Is that everybody starts to do the same thing. And then what happens is we all start to look alike again. And then you don't differentiate. And the way that you truly build a lasting, beloved brand is that you know who you are. And so really be careful not to get lost in the shuffle, the hustle, and just be really just like, I know who I am. The world needs to know. It's very, very, very noisy. The latest data is you have to see something 21 times before it even starts to connect. And just sit with that for a second. 21 times before your brain even connects it, right? So hyper consistency, consistent, know who you are. Don't like dabble in like lots of things. Like know who you are. Like I wear black, whatever it is. Like just you've got to stand out or no one's gonna know who you are, or what you mean or what you stand for, so.
Have you ever heard the term stand on the shoulders of giants? So figure out what somebody else is doing that you like, take it, make it yours, add your flavor to it, and then do that thing. And this reminds me of, Gary Vee, Wine Library TV, drinking wine, swish it around, talking about the wine. Same thing for you. You could do something similar, but with your flavor to it.
That actually be pretty funny too. To actually
Yeah.
try to do coffee like wine. That actually
Yeah.
would be maybe a little
Why not
hot.
tea?
You do that.
Why are we
Totally.
doing
Or
tea?
Or,
Just kidding.
or tea. The opposite of that is if Pete Davidson can date a Kardashian.
Yeah. Oh my God.
No one saw that meme at all, right? So, but to that. Another question. Karina.
Hello.
Hi, Karina. Great.
Good. Hi, girl.
Partially reality TV and partially mortgages and all family. So what do you guys feel feel is too real to be on video and on camera and on everything.
I don't know that you can be too real.
Yeah.
I mean, I talk about selling the wrong house. Today's video talks about losing my house in a divorce. People are so tired of scripted reality. There has never, ever been a better opportunity to be 100% you. Double down on you, because it will either repel them or draw them to you, and they will be loyal like nobody's business. There's never, ever been a better time to be imperfect. Nobody is buying into the perfection of scripted reality. So for me, I mean, do I wish that I could take back the video of when I sold the wrong house? Some days, because you're the agent that sold the wrong house. Yes, that would be me. But, you know, people love that. They'll fall in love with that.
Yeah, I don't think you can be too real. I think people try to think what they should put out there based on what they think other people want, and we're never right, or we hit a small segment of the audience. I do think we need to be nice, right? We don't need to be nasty and rude and shitty online. So just talk about yourself and be really honest. You know, I started sharing my story growing up. My dad died. I had depression. I started sharing that stuff, and it's amazing. People start private messaging you. Thank you for sharing that story. That impacted me, right? So I just think if you're honest and authentic, there's never too much you can do, to Glenda's point.
It's the thing that connects you to your audience.
Yeah.
Be real.
Just the more fake you are now, everybody can like sense it, and you're instantly like you want to vomit, you know, and everyone's white picket fence is up online, and like that doesn't attract eyeballs to your business. And I think repelling the wrong people is actually sometimes more important than attracting the right ones.
Yeah,
Get 'em
it
out of your
weeds
life.
out the riffraff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the people that, like, I talk about my drinking, and the people that are not going to embrace me, praise the Lord and pass the money. Go work with somebody else, because at some point you would have figured out that that post to be perfect was fake, and you overpromise and underdeliver because they're looking for that fake person. For me, nobody is thinking that they're going to get some sweet Southern, you know, oh, hey there, honey bun, how are you? That's not my deal. So, yeah, real.
I think the only exception to that, just to be devil's advocate here, is, you know, for those of us who are building like not an individual brand or a micro brand of one, right? When we're talking about like not just like my own personal brand. And the way that I think we counter that is getting really consistent with knowing what I call them content pillars, right? And again, it's because the world is noisy, it's busy, everybody's clamoring and trying to get attention. And so when you get too wide open, then nobody knows what you mean or what you stand for. So for those of us who are trying to build a brand as an entity, not as a human, I do think having a really structured, pillared approach of this is one bucket of content that, you know, things fall into, this is another bucket of content that, you know, and that you get really organized and you keep it to 3. So if you're talking about too many things, then nobody will know who you are. So really, 3 is the golden number. Pillar your content, stick in the line, and then you can ask yourself and have the discipline and say, you know what, this is kind of a random idea. It doesn't really fit into what we're trying to build. Let's put it in our parking lot for now. So just something to consider.
It's perfect. And the key to that is understanding that consumers identify with imperfection, not the perfect lives that we all try to put out there. Question. Thought we had someone
Way
over.
back
Yeah,
there.
dude in the back.
Oh, way in the back. Yep.
To speak to what Frito was asking earlier about ways to get in front of, like, you love coffee, your local coffee shops, and this goes for anybody. As a broker, you should really kind of hold yourself kind of like as the mayor of your community. So how can you partner up with those local coffee shops? You know, maybe do a gift card giveaway, create a jot form online, have people submit their info because they want to win this gift card to the local coffee shop, have that coffee shop share your content, and now you've got a list of leads from everybody who put their info in there. Email them, thank you for subscribing, all that kind of stuff. Different ways to play off of other small businesses.
Great.
Well, if you're doing a restaurant, you could always do like Taste Test Tuesday. Last night I sat next to this guy, Mario, and he does like tacos and tequila. And
My
I
dude.
said,
All
I
right.
said, you
Where's
could
Mario at?
Yeah.
I said, you could
Let's
do
go.
tacos and tequila on Tuesday. But I think that engaging the local business is, like Wine Wednesday. Are you going to a wine shop? Or, is it, Salmon Saturday? I'm big into alliterations if you hadn't figured that out yet. But I think that drawing those people in and partnering with them, like you said, gaining access to that audience and being the mayor of your community is so critical, especially because people want that hyper-local expert, especially in real estate and in mortgages as well. Like, I want somebody that I can pick up the phone that's gonna have to deal with me. I don't wanna have to worry about somebody who's far away. But I think that getting involved in your community, asking them what they need, what are they looking for, so you're not doing blindfolded target practice. What are you looking for on video, and how do you wanna reach your community, and then take it and collaborate.
That's the name of the game, what she just said, and everybody should write this word down. It's called reciprocity. If you're just doing it for yourself, you've already lost,
Yeah.
right? So the key is when you approach any kind of partnership, be very, very transparent about this is what I'm trying to do, and this is how, what do you need to do? And then find that mutual, that shared value in the middle where everybody wins. And those are the campaigns where everybody is really committed to being a part of. But that's, again, where most people get it wrong. So reciprocity and shared value are really, really important parts of this equation for it to actually work.
Nice. Do you guys want to add something to that?
I think I'm just going to leave with one thing. I was going to talk about it earlier. In real estate and lending, we have so many tools under the sun. I mean, if you have more than 20 tools, you're probably like me, right? The problem is we're not a professional, we're an amateur. We get a new CRM, but we don't get to know it well enough. We do video, but we don't actually take the time to do video well. I would say streamline what you're doing and be a professional in anything you're going to do. If you have a new opportunity for a new technology, ask yourself the question, do I have the capacity to be a professional? If you don't turn it on.
I would just add a little bit to what she was saying there. So a strategy with that post, you're giving away a gift card, I think she said, or whatever, to a restaurant. So you're pulling that restaurant into your community, and you're promoting them, and they're promoting you. But you can also build your audience strategically through contests with that stuff too. So you can give away a $50 gift card to that coffee shop or wherever, and then you put in there, please tag a first-time home buyer that could, like to win $50 gift card. And then you have all these people tagging them, and then when they tag, they like the post, and then you go back in and invite them to like your page. You do this over a long period of time. You built an audience of first-time home buyers, and then maybe 4 months down the road, you do a really good video about educating first-time home buyers how to get into a home with no money down. So be intentional and strategic, a little bit more long-term, to build those audiences there.
Awesome. Perfect. Can I get a hand for this awesome panel, please?